Hi everyone! Different angle because I felt like it, and I like my bookshelf, so but also it's relevant to the video. So I have to make a confession. As someone who makes a lot of videos about books, I have fallen off the book wagon big time for the last couple months. I have not picked up a book in months. I've also just been spiraling down in general, but not anymore. Not anymore, because it is September, it is autumn, and that is my time to shine. I don't want to be one of those basic autumn girls, but like, here we are. Listen, I was born on the day before Halloween. I've always been a Halloween child. It's my time. I always feel so motivated somehow. I just feel happier and it's just my time to shine, baby. And so yeah, I'm here to get my shit together. And for me, a very important part of that is to decide what I'm gonna be reading for the rest of the year. I want to mention that I was very heavily inspired by Leonie, the book Leo, here on YouTube. She did a video about, you know, what she was going to be reading for the rest of the year and sort of like making a list and like organizing it, and I was like, yes, that is what I need. So here we are. This is a part of my bookshelf. This little shelf thing is something that I purchased this year and I'm so in love with it. You probably don't want this, but I'm gonna give you a very just like tiny little tour of this tiny little bookshelf. The point of this video though is to show you the books that I own that I haven't read yet and to decide which ones I'm actually going to be reading. Conveniently, these are the books that I haven't read yet. I'll start by talking about these ones. These are ones that have been here for a while and I just haven't gotten to them for some reason. First one is Phantom of the Opera. I've had this for a very long time. I received this from my aunt and uncle in America. They've gifted me a bunch of like really cool classic books and I've read like most of them, but not all of them. For classics, I really need to be in the mood. Because English is not my first language, reading classics often like it just takes a lot of brain, you know? So I'm just not always in the mood for that. However, I feel like The Phantom of the Opera is a good one to read in autumn. The story has always intrigued me, but I've never actually seen the musical or any movie or read any books. I don't actually know what the story's about, but like it's very intriguing to me. So I'm gonna put this on the yes pile. The second one, I have The Historian. What I can tell you about this is that it's a big one, and big books intimidate me, so I also don't know what this is about at all. Maybe I should read what this is about, because I literally have no idea. The Historian is the story of a young woman plunged into a labyrinth, where the secrets of her family's past connect to an inconceivable evil, a dark reign of Vlad the Impaler. This is a vampire book? Okay, so this is a horror. I think if I have to choose between these two, because they're both classics, I think this one intrigues me the most for now, so I'm gonna put this on the no pile. The next one is just collected ghost stories. I think I bought this 2 years ago. I just thought this was good to have because, you know, when it's October, you gotta read those ghost stories, but I haven't yet. These ones are from M.R. James. This one I definitely want to get into. I don't know if I'm gonna finish them, but I would love to read a couple of these stories. I think this is a book that like every autumn I can choose a couple stories to read from, so I think I'm gonna do that. So I'm gonna put this in the yes pile. Next, I have Children of Virtue and Vengeance by Tomi Adeyemi, which I picked up because I really wanted to read this series, and I thought this was the first book in the series, even though right at the beginning here it says that it's the second book in the series. I can't read this because I haven't read the first one. I do have the first one on my iPad, so I could start reading the first one, but like this one, the second one, I think for now I'm just gonna put down. I love this cover though, like it's so pretty. Next up, we have another book that has been on my TBR for a long time, but I'm terribly intimidated. Michelle Faber, as y'all know, I love every Michel Faber book I read. I've read like 4 of his books now, and I've loved all of them. This is my mom's favorite book of his, The Crimson Petal and the White. It's very famous. It's also just very, very big. And so, you know. Also, I remember reading the back of this and not being super intrigued. So that's also why I haven't picked it up. Sugar, an alluring 19-year-old prostitute in the brothel of the peculiar Miss Castaway, yearns for a better life. And when she is visited by William Rackham, the somewhat reluctant heir to Rackham Perfumeries, she begins an ascent through the strata of 1870s London society that offers us intimacy with a host of lovable, maddening, and superbly realized characters. It's just, maybe just not yet. The next book, I have actually started this. This one I got for Christmas. It is The Anatomy of Story, which I've heard is a really, really good book on storytelling, which is what I'm really passionate about. I've read, yeah, I've got a bookmark. Okay, I didn't get very far, but I do really want to read this, and I will definitely be reading this year. I don't know if I'm going to finish it, because this is one of those books, it's like an educational book, which I prefer to really go through slowly. So it's on the yes pile.
So I thought I should talk about my bookshelf a little bit just because I wanted to. On the top shelf, I just have a bunch of my favorite books. There's really no rhyme or reason to why these are here. I just like them together. I've got The Secret Garden, Tokyo Ueno Station, Flowers for Algernon, and Dandelion Wine. Then the books up top there are a series of little tiny books about fairies. I think it's called The Flower Fairies. And I've had them since I was a kid, and I've been obsessed since I was a kid. Probably they're the reason I'm obsessed with fairies. They're just like little pieces of poetry with beautiful illustrations of fairies, and I love it. Then we have the next shelf, which has a bunch of random books. The first one there is Max and the Wild Things by Dave Eggers, which is like a retelling of where the wild things are. Then I've got A Monster Calls, Sapiens, and one of my favorite books of all time, A Tale for the Time Being. And then over here I just have my all-time favorite YA contemporaries. I'll have I Give You the Sun, The Truth About Keeping Secrets, The Perks of Being a Wallflower, and They Both Die at the End. Then on the shelf below that I have all of my standalone fantasies, or if they're part of a series, I'm not planning to finish the series. I would say I love all these books, but there's actually a book in here that I hate with a passion, but I don't want to get rid of it. Guess in the comment which book it is that I hate. I've got The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue, Lewis Carroll's collected works, The Treachery of Beautiful Things, The Name of the Wind, Tiger Lily, The Aviary, and The Night Circus. And also that thing over there, I just wanted to mention that's a real bone, and I think it's really cool. And then on the bottom shelf, I have my big books that I don't know where else to put. Most of them are Harry Potter. They're like books about the movies and how they were made, which I just find really fascinating. I've got the Artifact Vault, the Character Vault, the Creature Vault, Magical Places from the films, Film Wizardry, and the Page to Screen book. And then up top I have my art book of Over the Garden Wall, which is one of my favorite things to exist in this universe. And I decided to like stall it like this because it's autumn and like tis the time.
Now over here we have my little pumpkin. Let me just, okay. These books, let me tell you, I feel a little bit, how do I put this? I bought these all in the same day when I was in the city shopping, and like when I go to bookstores, I usually don't, like, the chances for me to actually pick up a book and buy it are small because I'm very like picky, and I can never decide, because what if I don't like the book? But that day I just felt so compelled. All these books just were calling out to me and were like, you are gonna love me, please buy me. So I bought a lot of books, and I'm excited about all of them. Let me just show you. First one, oh my god, look at this. Treasure Island, but like in the coolest friggin' cover you've ever seen. It feels kind of, I think it's supposed to be fake leather. It's like rubbery fake leather, and it's just, it's engraved like I hope you can see this properly. And over here it's got like a little skull, and it's so cool. And look at the back. This is so cool. It's got little skulls in the. I love pirates so much. I really want to write a pirate novel once. Like, that's like a big dream of mine. I've seen a bunch of Treasure Island movies. Muppets Treasure Island. That's my jam. But I've never read the original book, and I was like, for someone who really loves pirates, I haven't even read this book. Like, come on. I feel like this is something that I can definitely read this autumn. I just feel like that's the vibe I want right now. I'm gonna be reading this year. This is on the yes pile. Number 2 is a book that I've been wanting to read for a very, very long time. It is Never Let Me Go by Kazuo Ishiguro. I've only read The Buried Giant by Kazuo Ishiguro, and I really liked it, but I think I'm gonna like this better. I don't know, like everything I've heard about this makes me feel like this is going to just destroy me, and like I'm ready for it. I don't know if this is gonna be for this year though. I'm trying to think, like, do I wanna destroy me like that? I feel like this might be a next year thing. It's on the maybe pile. It's on the maybe pile. Next one is a book that my husband really likes. Like, ever since he was a kid, he really, really likes this book. But we don't own this book, and I found a really beautiful version of it, and I'm like, this is meant to be. And it is The Alchemist, the 30th anniversary edition. This is a very famous book. A lot of people know and love this book. I personally have no idea what it's about. I know it's fantasy, and I mean, that's all I really need to know. I am all about the fantasy right now. Autumn usually gets me back into fantasy. Like, during summer, I'm down for like contemporary nonfiction, but autumn, winter, no, I need fantasy. The Alchemist is the story of a shepherd boy from the Spanish region of Andalusia who journeys to the exotic markets of North Africa and then into the Egyptian desert, where a fateful encounter with the alchemist awaits him. That doesn't tell me much, but I'm into it. This also looks like it's not too big, so for me, for getting back into reading, this feels like a good place to start. Listen, I need to ease myself back into this, and I think this is a really good place to start. So yes, I will be reading this. Next one is a book that I've been recommended by a bunch of people, and it just seems like something I would really like. And that's Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine. Everybody knows this book, right? And everybody knows what it's about. Well, I don't really know what it's about. I think it's about like Eleanor Oliphant, and she's probably not completely fine. I feel like this is gonna be about mental health, maybe? I don't know if this is the time for me to read this. I'm gonna put it in the maybe pile. Convenience Store Woman by Sayaka Murata. So, this is just a tiny little book written by a Japanese author, and it's about a woman who works at a convenience store, which... She's 36 years old, she's never had a boyfriend, and she's been working in the same convenience store for 18 years. Her parents wish she'd get a better job, her friends wonder why she won't get married. But Keiko knows what makes her happy, and she's not going to let anyone take her away from her convenience store. I don't know if this sounds boring to some people, but this book sounds like it might be exactly what I need right now. I work at a supermarket, and I think about what that means, like, a lot, and I think about what I want to do with my life, and I think about my future, and I think about what's gonna make me happy, like, a lot. Not me just making supermarket life deep. And I just feel like this book might have some answers. I don't know, I often find that little Japanese books like this have crazy wisdom in them. I'm really hoping that this is gonna give me what I need, so this is definitely a book I'm gonna be reading very, very soon. And then the last book I bought that day is a book that I've already read, so I'm not gonna reread it, but I just needed to have it in my collection, and that is The Boy in the Striped Pajamas. If you don't know, I have a thing for books that handle like adult topics but that have children as protagonists. Watching things go down but from the perspective of a child is always like, I don't know why it gets me, but it's like my thing. I love it. I really, really, really like this book a lot. It's about, you know, World War II through the eyes of a little boy. I mean, people know what this is about, right? There's a movie as well, but I really highly recommend the book because you're really in the mindset of this little boy who just doesn't really know what's going on at all. But yeah, I've read this. I'm not gonna read it again. Now, let me get my iPad because I have more books on my iPad. I have a lot of books on here, and I always forget that I have books on here. I have Kitchen by Yoshimoto Banana, which is another tiny little Japanese book, but I don't think I want to read that one just yet. I have The Hazelwood by Melissa Albert, but like this is one of those books where like I don't know if I'm gonna like it, so I keep putting off reading it. Ooh, I do have Children of Blood and Bone, so I could go for the that is interesting. I think I might. I'm gonna put Children of Blood and Bone on the list because I'm really into the fantasy right now. I think Children of Blood and Bone is gonna be good. I'm excited about it. Yes. I have Infinity Sun by Adam Silvera, but maybe not yet. Little Fires Everywhere. I've been wanting to read that for a long time, but maybe not right now. Into the Wild. Okay, I'm putting that one on there. That's like a winter book. What else? Oh, I have Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. I didn't know I had that one. Oh, that's probably like another impulse decision that I had. Ninth House seems like a book you have to read in autumn, and I don't want to wait until next year because like I'm so late to the party with Ninth House. This also seems like a book that I'm either gonna love or hate, so I'm not gonna force myself to finish this one if I don't like it, but I want to start it. Spinning Silver by Naomi Novik. That's another one of those books where like I have to read it in winter. I'm gonna put it on the list. What else do we have? The Gilded Wolves. Maybe not this year. Oh, The Bear and the Nightingale. Ooh. I feel like that's like a Spinning Silver type of book, right? Which one should I read? I have to choose Spinning Silver or The Bear and the Nightingale. If you're still watching, please comment which one I should read because I don't know. Cool, I think that's sort of where we're at. Okay, let us make my... Okay, my camera died. I'm using a different camera now, so it's probably gonna look very different. I guess this is a good way to like check and compare cameras, so how's it look? Anyways, let's go over the books. So this list that I've compiled right now, it's not like I have to finish all these books before the end of the year, because I don't think that's possible. It's like the list I'll be picking from, and it's like a list of books that I'm really excited about, so it's hopefully gonna encourage me to like read more. The first book I'm gonna get into is Treasure Island by Robert Louis Stevenson. This one is just, it's gonna be a fun time. A book that I'm gonna start reading and just like slowly make my way through, probably well into next year, is gonna be The Anatomy of Story by John Truby. This is gonna hopefully inspire me in my writing, and it's gonna be really helpful, hopefully. The next book is gonna be one that I should be reading when I'm feeling spooky and I'm in the Halloween mood. This is also a book I'm not gonna be finishing most likely, but these are The Collected Ghost Stories by M.R. James. You know, just a little bedtime creepy story. It's gonna be fun. Then I'm also very excited to get into some fantasy with The Alchemist. Look how pretty and autumn colored they are. I didn't even plan that. Okay, this one's not very autumn colored, but Convenience Store Woman. I don't know, I think I'm either gonna start with The Alchemist or Convenience Store Woman. I haven't decided yet. This one, very small, very short book. Very excited about it. Hopefully it's gonna help me. And then if I do want to get into something a little bit heavier, I'm gonna try to read The Phantom of the Opera, finally, after all these years. And then on top of that, I have a couple of other books on my iPad that I can be reading. The first one is The Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi, a good old YA fantasy that hopefully is just gonna excite me. Another one I might read is Into the Wild. It's another sort of classic that I've always wanted to read, and I think it's right up my alley. I think this is a good one to read in the winter. And then the last two books are Spinning Silver and The Bear and the Nightingale
which are also just perfect winter books. So they're not like for October, but like, you know, getting into December. I think those would be very, very nice to read as well. So I think that is going to do it for me today. Those are books that I think I'm going to be reading for the rest of the year. I'm really excited about them now, and I will probably start reading today. And yeah, that's just exactly what I wanted, because I really just needed to just pick up a book again. I think right now, you know what? Right now, right this very moment, I think, you know what? I'm just gonna start reading The Alchemist today, because I want to. And yeah, that's all I have for you today. I am ready to fully get into autumn vibes. I just hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye. Oh my god, wait, hold on. I really have no brain sometimes. I forgot two books that are on my TBR. This one, Before the Coffee Gets Cold, Tales from the Cafe by Toshikazu Kawaguchi. I already started reading this book, but then life happened and I just stopped reading altogether. But yes, I started reading this and I enjoyed it. So I should probably read this one first. So I'll read this one and then I'll read this one. And another one that has been on my to-read list for a long time is Haruki Murakami's Waarover ik praat als ik over hardlopen praat, or what I talk about when I talk about running. This is a book that my dad bought, but I also want to read it because apparently there's a lot of really cool insights in here. Yeah, but this one, I think this is another book that I'm going to read in the new year and not this year. I really, like, structure just isn't a thing in my world. Just listen, it's fine. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We're getting our shit together. Don't worry. It's gonna be fine. Okay. Yeah, I'm really gonna go now. So bye. Bye.